Hey everybody, Barry here again. Can you tell I'm excited? Do you know why I'm excited? Because I got more rusty junk. So this thing is the next runner-up for the prize of seeing how long I can get engines to last. This summer, not very long, like 3-4 hours each, and then they go boom, and then I put another engine in and then boom. It's just an ongoing thing, and I have no remorse. I don't really care that much. So, yeah, this is a 6 liter. It came out of an 04. You can see here that it's drive-by-wire, so it's a newer. It has a black crank sensor. So I think it's like Gen 3 electronics with Gen 4. And I think the tan crank sensor or brown is Gen 4. I'll check it out, just make sure. Anyway, so this thing is going in the Caravan. Because obviously you saw in the last video that the Caravan engine is cooked. Also, the transmission is coming out because I'm putting an 80E in it. So why not put this thing in also? Right now, I think this is an LQ4. I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure because LQ9s came in cool stuff like Yukons and Cadillacs, like my old Escalade. And LQ4s, being the lower horsepower, I think it's like 305 or 315 horsepower, came in 2,500 trucks, which this came out of. So I'm expecting it to have dished pistons. And right now it has 317 junky heads, but I'll keep the timing low, which I have been doing. I've limited myself to 9 degrees timing on pump 91, which our pump 91 is like basically water. It's like 87 on a good day. So it's junk. So I'm going to keep timing below 10 degrees. I've been limiting myself because I used to go 12, and then sometimes it would get a little tiny bit of detonation, which you don't want, especially in the turbo car. So I cannot wait to see how fast this thing is going to be. Also, I forgot, I wired in a trans brake, or like a sloppy third gear spool trans brake thing into my harness. So all I gotta do is plug in a relay button and it goes into third gear. Plus I have the 2-step. So if I can get it to hold, say, 3,500 RPM, 3,400 RPM before it pushes through the brakes, I can set my 2-step to like 3,300 RPM, put a 5-pin relay on the IAT so it pulls timing, and it should be on the trans brake / 2-step and makes a boost and make this thing fast. I got like 225s on the back of this thing, just gonna annihilate the tires. So yeah, I almost fell down, I tripped over that. Yep, I'm gonna put this thing up in the engine stand and start pulling apart, see what we got. I gotta pull the oil pump off because I got a front sump oil pump on the Caravan, so I'll pull that off. That'll give me a chance to look in under it, make sure there's nothing falling, make sure there's nothing in the oil pan. I do have like 12 pistons home, so I don't care what I find. As long as it's not completely seized solid, I'll be fine. Also, I have an LS cam, so if anybody has any springs to match that thing, because I don't, then give me a shout. I'll buy them off you, whatever. Mail them to me. That'd be awesome. I would really, really appreciate it because it'd be sick to get an LS cam in this thing. Let's see what we got. Ah, it turns. That's something. Woo! I just want to film this because this is like the sketchiest way I've ever lifted up an engine before. Sorry, Michael, I forgot to give you back your lucky rope. Oh no, there's no spot for the bolt now. So some of you guys are probably like, this is like your 8th engine blowing up now. Won't you ever learn? Nope. I'm having fun. Please don't fall. Pretty tight spot, actually. But if you can get it to turn around, it'll be good. Move you guys around. Well, that's a better view. I used to lift the engine up with this piece still on the stand until I realized that it's way easier to bolt it on there first and just slide this into the engine stand. I don't know why it's something that I never thought about 10 years ago, but sometimes it takes a little time to realize things. There we go. Done. This thing is on a stand and didn't kill me or break my foot, anything like that. And yeah, so I think I'll call this video Turbo LS Caravan gets its third engine. I don't know if I'm embarrassed to say that or excited, but yeah, bigger and better things. The second engine ran way better than the first engine. The third engine should be exponentially better than the second engine, hopefully. And I can actually log oil pressure in this one, so that's sick. And yeah, sick, it has the right sensor too. I can just plug it right in. Mint. Okay, let's talk plans again. I'm not changing the heads, screw it. I'm not, did I just swear? Sorry, I won't do it again. I'm not gapping the rings because that has not saved me at all in the past. I've gapped them to 35 thousandths is the highest I've went and still broke pistons. So I feel like ring gap's probably not my issue. Timing, which I've already solved, is my issue. So this is a 9.5 to 1. 9.5 to 1? 9.7, something like that. That's fine, I don't care. It's gonna have piles of power. It's gonna have a lot more power than my 5.3 with 317 heads on it. That was like 8.5 to 1 or something, which was junky until it got into boost, and then it was fast. This should be decent until it gets into boost, and then be fast. I'm not painting it because paint's bad luck. I blame my engine blowing up last time on Plum Crazy Purple, and the last one that blew up I'm blaming on Ford Blue. So, and I'm not painting Chevy Orange because I just don't like it. They look awesome, just not me. I'm gonna scrap this thing down, meaning take off the intake because my intake is done. It's already shaved, everything's there. Pull the wiring off it because I don't need that. My power steering pump is making a lot of noise, so I might even just leave this power steering pump on there. And alternator, because my alternator goes ee and drains the battery overnight. This is working out a lot better than I expected. So thanks, Michael, you definitely saved me there. Yeah, I'll probably put my top pans on it because mine are painted purple or black or something. Everything else can stay. And I think black sensor is 24x. So I wouldn't even have to change anything. Cam sensor's already in it. Oh, I gotta sneeze again. Oh, I've been trying not to sneeze for like 5 minutes now. I don't know. Let's tear it apart, see what we got. Well, this thing is looking better already. Look at it. It doesn't have any old junky wiring on it now. Looks like this one had Hydro Boost because it's got 2 returns here. So I can just block off that one and use this one, or block off this one probably actually, because I think that's the Hydro Boost return. Anyway, whatever. And everything is pretty much all there. I'm gonna drain the oil after. The guy said it only had a couple of, wasn't very long. It was only like due for another oil change or something like that, so it shouldn't be too ridiculous. I'll pull the oil pan off of it because either way I gotta put my front sump oil pan on anyway. So I'll pull that off, have a look at the rods, make sure nothing was, you know, overheated. If there's any real tan gray color or light gray color looking rods, I know they're overheated. Also, it's got Gen 4 internals because it's got 13 mil heads on these bolts here. That's one way to tell. Now, May not be like a surefire way to tell, but I should be able to pretty much look at it when I get the pan off and see what's in there anyway. And yeah, looks like a fairly new water pump. Looks like a pretty new alternator. It's got a premium Bosch sticker on it, so it's definitely not an OE alternator. Belt's cooked, but not serious. But yeah, so I'll probably just, I'm not even gonna paint it. I'll just grab the vacuum cleaner and vacuum all this old stuff up so it doesn't go directly down there. And then maybe give it a power wash so it's not dirty and I don't get rotten while I'm putting it in. And build it back up. I don't really have anything else to do with it. So after I get this thing ready for the van, I'll pull the transmission, the 80E out of the work van that I got back there and then start putting this thing back together. Should be hopefully like, I'll set a realistic time and maybe have it on the road again in 2 weeks. That'd be sweet. It's not a deadline, it's just an estimation of how long it should take me by the time I figure out the drive shaft, when I figure out lengthening the transmission cross member and bracing that up on my van cradle now and doing the shifter and all that. The big stuff, getting it in place is easy. The wiring is a couple days when I take my time at it. The shifter thing is going to be a little bit. Getting it tuned, that's going to be a massive thing because I haven't really tuned automatic transmissions yet. I did it in the Cadillac, which was not too bad, but I wasn't starting from scratch. I was just upping shift pressures and changing the shift timing and that kind of thing. But yeah, let's tear this thing down further and I'll see where I am with the parts that I have. All right, Daddy has to turn on the vacuum now, okay? Now, it's not like super crazy loud, but... Alrighty, well, I'm about to pull the drain plug out, see what the oil looks like. And I figured I'd get it on video in case chunks come out. Huh, it's dirty, but it's not chunky. Well, it's a magnet, and it doesn't really have much on there. A little tiny bit, but nothing serious. I have the oil draining, which looks fine. Not serious, it's still draining out. So the farthest I'm going with this, I'm going to pull off the valve covers because I'm going to use my coils and stuff anyway. I'll use my valve covers. Pop this off just to make sure all the rockers are good, make sure nothing's loose there. And I just turned it over by hand. There's no plugs in it, so it's really easy. And it turns over absolutely free. No obvious noises. So I'm going to send it. Pull off the valve covers, see what's in there, and if there's nothing broken, then I think we're good to go. So one thing I always do is pull the rockers, mainly because they're easy to pull off. And you can inspect to see how the oiling is doing, especially up to the rockers. And I'll show you what I found. I'll just pull out two right here. And so these are two different rockers. And you should be able to see the difference quite clearly. That this one here is like a mirror. Forgive my dirty hands, I've been at this for a little bit. And one is kind of sanded looking. There you go, you see the lines and stuff in it? That means that the oiling wasn't working very well up there. And this end of this push rod is actually filed down like it was sanded. And you can see here that a couple are good, and then it gets to this one. And again, I shake a lot, sorry, but here's what it looks like. That one's sanded a lot, and then you get to the one that's like a mirror. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace all of the bad rockers. Everything on this side looks fine, actually. That's funny. It's only over on the passenger side head that rockers are messed up, or that the push rods, sorry, are messed up. And it looks like there's maybe 3. So that's why I always pull those out, just so I can check the condition of the push rods, because that can give you a noise. Because the push rod now, it being sanded down, is shorter. And shorter means it takes up, well, there's less tolerance there. So there's chance for it to go clatter, 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 because there's not enough preload on the lifters. Maybe the lifters are a little bit, you know, worn or sunk down. Now you get a noise. So it's easier to do it right now than it is to pull the valve cover off in the van and see what's wrong with it. And here are some old ones that I took out of another engine, because I keep every part from every engine because I know what wears and what I'm going to need. We can see here that this other engine also had some push rods messed up. This one's bad right here. This one's fine. A couple here are fine. This one is messed up. So I'll go ahead and throw those away now so I don't reuse them. But there are a lot of good push rods here that I can just clean up and spray some brake cleaner them so I know they're free, and then use them again. Also, one thing I'm going to mention, because right now I'm at it, always check your rockers also. So we know that this push rod is messed up. You can see how dull and scored it is. Just look at these 2 rocker arms. This one right here is nice, it's mirrored. This one's very dull and sharp looking. So obviously that got messed up too. So it's a good thing I've got a collection of rocker arms, which pretty much everybody just throw away if they're not using them. So, you know, I don't want any more worn parts in this thing than there has to be. It's got 300,000 on it, kilometers. So like, what's that, 200 or something for you guys? So, you know, it's going to have worn parts, and without taking the heads off it and replacing all the lifters, I'm going to replace what I can here, and probably run a quart of seafoam or something through it, or a half quart of seafoam on the first run, just to be sure that any old sludge and gunk gets out of the engine before it gets, you know, before I put too many miles on it. So when I got this engine off Michael, he said, hey man, just want to let you know, before I scrapped it, it had a knock sensor code come up. I was like, well, whatever, I'm not going to use knock sensors anyway, so I'm going to pull them out and see what's in there. Oh, that was stuck. I guess it had a knock sensor code. That one is, like, that is messed up. That one's broken. That is full. Yuck. I have no idea what that is. I don't really want to know what it is. Is it corrosion, or is it diaper material? Coolant? Who knows? That's probably why it had a knock sensor code. I think maybe. Yeah. That might cause some connection issues, considering that knock sensor is mostly not there. It was probably causing some false knock, if the wire was just ground out on the side of the block here. Fun. Okay, so this is literally all that I'm doing with this engine, because I'm tired of wasting money on engines. No, I'm not. I just don't want to this time, because I just put new head bolts, head gaskets, everything all in that other engine and blew it up in like 5 minutes. But you can't really see anything under the hood of this thing anyway. So obviously the intake is clean, valve covers are gonna be clean. I'll probably put a wire brush over the heads just to mess with it. And I'll paint like the boost charge tubes and stuff, and the turbo is nice and clean. So that's it. So I'm gonna go poke that over here in the corner somewhere and start at the transmission. I think I'll start that in a new video, because I gotta go out, jack the van up with the forklift, getting under it safely, of course, with blocks and jack stands and stuff like that, and pull the transmission out of it. And then I'll check and see kind of what stall is in it based on this chart thing that I saw, which I'll put right here because I can do that now. Oh yeah, let's look at that. Hang on, let's run. Move this junk out of the way. So we can see that this torque converter, the lines are going in kind of a straight up but more to the right angle here. And according to the chart, that means that it has a high stall. You'll see it in the chart. I'll like circle it or something. And I'll check the torque converter that's in the van, see which one has a higher stall, because 355 gears and like a 5,600 pound van wants a little more stall. So I'll do that. But as for now, this video's over because we're doing transmission stuff next. I just stuttered. I'm not editing that out. So on that note, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, liking the videos, helping me out. And have a great night, everybody.